Good evening. My name is Andy Bound, and I'm the Associate Vice President for College Advancement here at Grand Rapids Community College, and I want to welcome you all this evening for our evening of celebration. And tonight is a night to have fun, to enjoy friends, and to enjoy the long history of Grand Rapids Community College. I'd like to start out this evening by introducing our Board of Trustees. Member of the Board of Trustees, if you'd please stand so we can acknowledge you. There we are, thank you. And we have a couple members of the GRCC Foundation Board as well. If you'd please stand. We thank you for your work as well. I have a brief role tonight, and that is to introduce our president of our GRCC Alumni Association. It's been a privilege to work with Walt over the last, I've worked with him for the last 3.5 years, and he's been faithful in serving as our president of the Alumni Association. We've enjoyed working together. We've enjoyed the work of our alumni across the campus and in the community, and it's with celebration as well and some regret that Walt is stepping down after serving for at least four years as president of the Alumni Association. So without further ado, Walt Lotus, our president. There you are.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Andy. Welcome, good evening to everyone, and on behalf of the Alumni Association, we'd like to welcome you and, of course, extend our congratulations to Gary Schenk, our distinguished alumna for this year. What can you say about Gary that hasn't been said tonight? I've heard a lot. All good, all good. I knew I was in trouble, Gary, when I got here and saw my old family priest. And of course, Father Ray knew he was in trouble when he saw that you were here and I was here. So enough said about that. But I know we have some alumni board members here. If you guys could stand, we need a little embarrassment. There they are back there. Where's Rick? I especially want to thank the two young ladies back there because, excuse me, Kathy Huber's the vice president, and Rhonda Leap, the executive officer, and I all came on the board together. And as Andy mentioned, we're all leaving together, so I guess that's a good thing. But again, on behalf of the Alumni Association, we'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. This is one of the fun things we do. The Alumni Association also raises funds for the alumni scholarships, and that's probably the main mission of the association. And then, of course, we always pick the distinguished alumni for the year. And this year we had a lot of fine candidates. And we, after a brief consultation, I think it took 30 seconds, we picked Gary. So it is our privilege to honor Gary tonight. And it's also my privilege to welcome our president of Community College, Ann Mulder, and I know I saw her somewhere. There she is. Our interim president, who's done a fantastic job. We appreciate everything she's done for the college, and we wish her well. You want to use my cane?
Yeah, I should. Okay. Hi, Walt. Thank you very much. I apologize for my sunglasses. I left my regular glasses at home this afternoon, but then I decided I probably needed to come incognito anyway because last night there was a party honoring me, and the video tube, YouTube, is probably fully alive with this video which shows our honored guest tonight and I in a rather compromising position. And I would like very much to thank his wife, Sandy, and my husband, Tony, for allowing this to go on this evening. Thank you so much. It's great. It's a great honor for me to be here tonight, and I want to welcome all of you to our distinguished alumni celebration. It is really nice to see so many familiar faces and friends, in the audience this evening, I would like to recognize Dr. Juan Oliveras, our immediate past president. Thank you, Juan. It's a very special week for all of us here at the college. We will graduate our 92nd class this coming Friday evening, and that is indeed a great honor. Just for the fun of it, would all of you who have attended Grand Rapids Community College please stand? About 250 of our students walk in our graduation ceremony each year, but each semester we transfer about 1,000 students on to pursue their four-year degrees. And this year's Distinguished Alumna is an outstanding example of this order. As you may know, Grand Rapids Community College has served roughly 26,000 students during this past year. And unfortunately, we have had to turn students away. That is about to change, however. As most of you know, we have recently purchased the Davenport University campus, and that will... That college itself has had a rich and illustrious history for over 125 years in this community, and it's only fitting that we are now able to take our fine services to that location, and we will look forward, as I'm sure you will, to seeing how our college grows and will continue to grow in the years ahead because of that. Our award winner this evening has been very supportive of that venture, and he's been very supportive of all of us, and especially me. And Gary, thank you, during this past year. He earned his degree with honors from Grand Rapids Junior College, his Bachelor of Arts degree with great distinction, and his Juris Doctorate, cum laude, from the University of Michigan. That also was an excellent choice. He was elected to the Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society and the Order of the Coif, which is the National Honor Law Society. He is chairman of Schenk, Boncher, and Ritma, PC, attorneys at law. Would the members of his firm please stand, all of you who are here this evening? He was elected to the Board of Trustees of Grand Rapids Community College in June of 1997. He served on the Board Finance Committee from 1997 to 1999 and as chairperson of the board from 1999 to 2001, treasurer from 2001 to 2003, and he was elected vice chairperson in July of 2003. Currently, he is serving as the chair of the Grand Rapids Community College Board of Trustees. He has served as Board of Trustees chairperson the last 4 years here at the college and has a total, actually, of 6 years as chairperson. That's really quite a wonderful accomplishment. I have enjoyed particularly sitting next to him at the board meetings, and maybe we could do this together. Do you want to say the last line? And Juan, would you help me with this? Come, Juan. Where does our last line together? Do you remember? You never know.
Come on.
Juan, come on up. You have to do this.
You both have to do it.
At the end of every meeting, there are times for the president's comments, and then he will simply say to us, is there anything that you would like to add? No, you say it.
What I say to them is, if all of these events that you're talking about are around here, is there somewhere that the people who are viewing our video presentation on Channel 28 GRCC today, is there any place they could find those events? And their response is always?
Well, yes, certainly.
Certainly.
www.grcc.edu. Is that good? We're like little lemmings going to the sea. Whatever Gary wants, Gary gets. Huh? Some of Gary's community activities included serving as chairperson of the Taxpayers Against Waste, the chairperson of the New Jail Study Committee, the member of the Long Range Planning Committee for the Grand Rapids Bar Association, and as volunteer investigator and hearing officer for the Attorney Grievance Commission. He just recently served as vice chair of the board of directors for the Greater Grand Rapids chapter of the American Red Cross. He's a member of the local, state, and national bar association, the Association of Trial Lawyers of Michigan, of America, the Michigan Trial Lawyers Association, the Michigan Township Attorneys, Kent County Office of the Defender, and charter member and counsel to West Michigan Mineral Resources Association. He is well known throughout the community, and in particular, the Grand Rapids Community College community. Gary and I go a long way back. When I was here at GRCC, I happened to have been his advisor. And I remember the young man who walked into my office wondering if he could make it here at this college, wondering what he was going to do really with his life. And I'm not quite sure of the advice I gave him, but I know that in that moment, I knew that I had seen somebody who could not only make it, but who would make it in a very real way. And so to come back and to have him serve as the chair of the board here as I leave the college and as he leaves the college, we have, I think, a very special relationship because of that. We shall walk off the stage together on Friday, hand in hand, and I will be entirely honored to share that walk with you, Gary, because it has been such a remarkable journey together all of these years. Now, will you join me as we view a short video presentation on the life and accomplishments of Gary Schenk.
When I graduated from Lee High School, I was not anywhere near what somebody would call a student. I was a throwaway. I wanted to go to college. I always thought I would. From the time I was 3 years old, I told people I wanted to be a lawyer. The only choice that I had available to me at the time was called Grand Rapids Junior College then, and I enrolled. And I fell in love with learning. I fell in love with the professors. Probably irony of ironies, the one that I remember most was Ann Mulder. Ann was not only my counselor, but she was also a teacher of mine. And when we sat down to talk for the first time, and I made some comment that really wasn't very bright, but I was being a little smart mouth with her, and she looked me in the eye and said, "You know, you're not very smart, are you?" She really helped steer me in the right direction and get me started in college, and kind of looked after me while we were both there. I had the distinct privilege of a few months back of offering her the interim presidency of community college in my capacity as chairman of the board of trustees. By the time I hit the University of Michigan as a junior, frankly, and I don't say this lightly, and I don't take any credit for it, but I was light years ahead of my fellow juniors. I graduated Phi Beta Kappa. I graduated cum laude, so it all came together, and it carried over to law school. I did a year working on a master's so that I could teach at Eastern Michigan University and make a living, because I'd gotten married in '65, and then went on to law school and graduated from U of M Law School in 1969. Did I always think about coming back to Grand Rapids? Yes. I mean, I love Grand Rapids. And my first job offer was the job that everybody in my class wanted. It was Nixon, Mudge, Rose, Guthrie, Alexander, and Mitchell. And yes, that was Richard Nixon and his Attorney General Mitchell. And the recruiter from Nixon Mudge looked me in the eye and he said, "You know, you'll never, ever have a chance to work in a law firm that's going to produce a president again." Actually, I did. Phil Buchan, who later became my partner at Law Buchan, was Jerry Ford's law partner, and we fooled him. Grand Rapids can produce presidents too. But I always thought that I wanted to come back here, and I did, and I've never regretted it. There was a chemical contamination crisis in Michigan that not many people remember. It was an event where a number of dairy cattle and other farm animals became contaminated with a fire retardant chemical called PBB, polybrominated biphenyl. And we tried a case for months in Cadillac. And my judgment of that case when we were done trying it is we gave the other side a sound whipping. The trial judge didn't agree with me, and we ended up losing the case. My feeling was that we needed to appeal that decision, but during that time the firm decided that it wanted to cut its losses and not handle any more of the cases, and I wasn't prepared to do that. And neither was my now partner, Fred Boncher. We wanted to continue representing these people because they needed it. There was nobody else. You know, trial lawyers like me, they always think they're going to win, or you wouldn't be in this business. So Fred and I decided we'd leave and started our own firm. And it did result in getting these cases resolved and getting a lot of help for a lot of people that otherwise might not have gotten it. I first started thinking about running for trustee when the college morphed from junior college into a community college. I loved the place, and I've always felt that I owed the place a debt. I always have lived my life believing that I owed Grand Rapids Community College a debt. And whether that was repaid in service or in some other way, I had fully intended to repay it at some point in my life. I have once again seen and probably learned more with respect to how important community college is to the region, and that if we have any chance of making it back as a manufacturing state or a state that deals in business and produces jobs, the community colleges of the state are going to be a tremendously important part of it. And I'll be able, I think, to sit back and say I had a small part in helping that happen.
And now it is my distinct pleasure to present the 2009 Grand Rapids Community College Distinguished Alumni Award to Mr. Gary Schenk.
Well, good evening, and hi. You know, I will try not to be emotional, and because I'm not a very emotional person. My mother always said, "Turn on the light for 10 minutes. Turn on the light. The refrigerator light goes on. He'll do 10 minutes," and I think she was right. And I wish my mom and dad could have been here tonight. First of all, my thanks to everyone who came. I'm truly overwhelmed. I told Sandy that I hope 10 or 15 people show up, and frankly, I'm just so grateful that you're all here. It means so much to me. Second, I want to give my thanks to Walt Lodes, a man whom I've come greatly to respect and admire over the years here. I did not know Walt very well before we started working together, and I know what he has done, he and his fellow foundation board members, particularly the long-serving ones, over these past years to make the Alumni Association a truly relevant and growing force on this campus. And of course, Andy and the foundation have been absolutely remarkable in the work that they've done here and what they mean to this college. And I thank you and your organizations so greatly, and I am so grateful to the Alumni Association for selecting me as the 2009 Distinguished Alumnus. I almost said 1969. For selecting me as the 2009 Distinguished Alumnus. A truly curious selection. I can only, I've been pondering this. Why would I be called a distinguished alumnus? Why would anybody think that about me? And I came to the conclusion that because I've lived long enough, the only thing they can think of to call me without being offensive is distinguished. But seriously, I'm humbled and honored by this selection. Oh, and then my thanks to Eddie Wagner. I owe it all to him. Where are you, Ed? I really don't, but see, I talked to Ed. I talked to Ed into saying that about me when he was elected just very recently and installed as a member of the Aquinas College Hall of Fame. And he stood up and he said, I owe it all to Gary Schenk. And of course, I took all the platitudes. I want to thank my Board of Trustee colleagues, past and present. I know Mike Stearns was here and had to leave. Jan and Ellen, Jan Magini, Ellen James, Rick Verberg, and Terry Hanlon are still here. I believe you all still here? Oh yeah, there you are. And I want to remind you that, I'm not supposed to do this, but I want to remind you that Ellen and Rick, who have truly rendered great service to this college as trustees, Ellen, from the time that we became a community college in 1991, as have Jan and Terry, but Ellen since 1991, and Rick, who came on the board with me, those two are both running for re-election. So Rick has asked me to tell you to get out early and vote, and Ellen has asked me to tell you to get out early and vote often. So, and I have given my hearty endorsement to those two for whatever value that has. I also noticed in the audience tonight a couple of other friends. Mac, are you still here? Oh, Mac McPherson and Jackson Day. And wait, there's one other. Lyle Wagner. Where's Lyle? Or, I'm sorry, yeah, Lyle Wagner. Lyle, excuse me, I'm thinking of Ed Wagner and Lyle Wagner, and you're much handsomer than Lyle Wagner. So, and two past chairpersons and Mac McPherson, all of whom served early on, and Jack served with me, and I came in probably in Lyle's position when he retired from the board. Thank all of you for the great service you've done, and stand up and take a bow. Stand up, take a bow. Come on, Lyle, stand up. But for my service on the board, I may not even have been on the radar for this honor. I don't know. But the opportunity here to serve with the board members that I've served with, first of all, but to serve with three great presidents, one of whom was here earlier tonight, Dick Hawkins, who had to leave, Juan Oliveras, who you've seen is here, my dear friend, and of course his wife Mary, their family. They are our family. And of course, Ann Mulder and her wonderful husband, Tony, are three great presidents who can make any board member and any board look good. We have valued every contribution that they have all made. And Ann, as I said yesterday at your reception, the one word I've heard about her performance in this year that she's been with us, and we get congratulated for being smart enough to select her. That was a no-brainer. And Ann, the word that we've all heard is magnificent, and thank you for all you've done. Thank you so much. And in the audience tonight, there are a lot of special people. You're all special people for being here, but I want to make some acknowledgments. First of all, I want to acknowledge some colleagues. The Honorable Sarah Smolensky is here. And Sarah, thank you for joining us. A fellow distinguished alum and a Raider to the core. I also am proud and honored that a great and dear friend, in fact, somebody who served on our PBB trial team that you saw referenced in the video tonight and later became a circuit judge down south of us in Berry and Eaton counties, the Honorable Richard Schuster. Richard, would you stand up and say hi to the folks? Richard not only was a fine lawyer, but he was a terrific judge. But he had this one failing. He kept telling us when we were trying this case in Cadillac how angry he was with the circuit judge for applying the court rules. And he said, I think the court rules and the rules of evidence are there just to keep real good evidence that lets justice be done out of the courtroom, and I would never stand for that. So A few years later, when Dick was a circuit judge and I was down for my first pretrial, I said, Dick, of course, the rules of evidence will be suspended in this case, won't they? And I noticed that he changed his tune a little bit. The Honorable John Logie was here tonight. Is John still here? An old and dear colleague of mine, probably couldn't stay, former mayor of Grand Rapids and a truly great and distinguished lawyer. David Bottrell, who is a wonderful, wonderful benefactor to the college. I think David had to leave, but David was here tonight, and I'm so proud of being a friend of David's. It means more to me than I can ever tell you. There is also Magistrate Fritz Hartley, who is on our trial team tonight. Fritz, stand up and say hi to everyone. So thank all of you for being here, and anyone I might have forgotten, and I wish I could recognize you all by name, but we'd be here for a long time, so I'm not going to do that. I do want to say to those I might have forgotten, like my friend Tom Hoffman, who as much as anyone convinced me to serve as a member of the Board of Trustees, and all the rest of you that I should remember, but I'm just drawing a blank right now because I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here. There are a few special folks besides all of those I've already mentioned that I want to say a few words about. My pastor, Father Jim Chelich, was supposed to be here, and I don't know where he is, but I know wherever he is, he's doing good. He's my rabbi, my teacher, the man who taught me that Jesus doesn't live up in the sky and sit up there with a notebook and take notes on what we're doing, but that he lives up to his word in the Gospel of St. Matthew, where the last words of that gospel, the very last words are, "And remember, I am with you always to the end of the age." And Father Jim taught me that you know, Jesus isn't up there where we're all always looking up the sky and praying. He's here with us, right next to me. And so when I pull out in a traffic lane and somebody cuts me off and I'm about to say something, I always look over and say, okay, I'm good this time. And it's a great and liberating freedom because it makes moral choices easy when you know the big guy's there with you and there's not a whole lot you should do that's wrong. I also want to introduce to you Father Ray Bruck, who's my conscience, and whose sermons, come on, Ray, stand up, whose sermons, whose wonderful homilies are given in a voice that was loaned to him by God Almighty. Listen to him speak sometime and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I have my brother Ken and his wife Betty back here representing my family of 113 brothers and sisters. Actually, there were only 9 of us, but it seemed like 113. And those from my wife's family, sister-in-law Sharon, and brother-in-law Brian, and his wife Aunt Kathy. That's how we know her, because that's what the kids have always called her, and I'm very proud of their being here tonight. My son Matt, who's an assistant professor, Professor Matthew at Kendall and at Grand Rapids Junior College as an adjunct. And my daughter Laura, who could not be here tonight, who have brought me so much joy in my life, and to their children, Logan, Spiros, and Jackson, who have done the same. Laura couldn't be here, but Laura, I love you, and Matt, I love you too. My law partners, Fred Boncher and Kurt Ripma, their wives, Mary Lou Boncher and Kim Ripma, are here tonight with us, and they mean so much in my life, and their families are so much a part of ours. Kathy Peterson is here. Kate, where are you? Oh yeah, my faithful Kate, who has been with us for 30-plus years, or rapidly going on 40 years, has served as my secretary and legal assistant all that time, and whose sole mission in life is to keep me out of trouble. And that's gotten to the point where my clients now call her when they need legal advice. So, you know, I'm sort of an adjunct myself there these days. And of course, our law firm staff, who Ann asked to stand earlier, and our young lawyers like Brent Boncher and Mary Gleason, I'm very grateful that you're here. And beyond that, I got just a few more words, because you've been very patient, but I truly don't know what I have done to be considered distinguished, except for the one truly right thing that I've done in my entire life. And that is to be smart enough to meet marry, love, and stay with the same person for 44 years. My wife, Sandy. Sandy, without whose patience, understanding, and ability to put up with a complete ass for that period of time, I probably would have been a failure at whatever I tried. My wife through law school and everything that followed, the real drive behind any success that I've had, and the person who has always been willing to stand by my side, in the background, alongside me, or wherever she was needed. Without you, my life would have been nothing. I love you, Sam. Now, as you saw in the video, I said I was not much of a student and when I was in high school, and that is truly an understatement. Had it been legal to flunk me out, I would have been gone. And, but I always thought that I'd be able to go to college, always thought that I'd be a lawyer. It's all I ever wanted from the time I was 3 years old. But the night before I came here for my first day, I talked to my dad and I said, Dad, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm smart enough. And he said something that I would pass on to any young child at any time if I were asked. He said, son, you go, you do your best, and whatever happens, if you come back home and say to me, Dad, I did my best, then I'll be happy. And I think you will be too. And Ann, who says she can't remember the advice that she gave me, I can remember it, because I met her almost immediately after I first came to the college. And I told her the same thing. I'm really worried about my ability. And you guys have a good time at your campaign meeting. I love you both. Good luck. Ann said to me, she said, I'll tell you this, Gary, if you're smart enough to work harder than anyone else in the class, if you put in one more hour than the next guy, you'll be okay. And that has been the lodestone of my life and my work, to work one more hour, to prepare one more hour than the guy on the other side. And I'm so grateful for you, Ann. To you, Ann. Thank you so much. When I first came here, there were no parking ramps, there was no ATC, there was no Spectrum Theater building, there was no Cook Hall, no Calkins Science Center, no Student Center, no MTEX, no new Davenport campus, no learning corners. There was the main building down the street here, big old building that used to be, I believe, Cass Tech. There was that building and a semi-paved parking lot to the east, and an old red building up here on the corner that was the gym and music room, as I recall. What there was here for me was much more important. When these doors opened to me for the first time, it was as if someone shined a brilliant light in my face, as if I was peering into King Solomon's treasure room, a river of golden dreams called knowledge, so much waiting to be taught and so much waiting to be learned. And all you had to do was put your head into that river, and the brilliant people who taught here would fill it with the knowledge, with love of their craft and without reservation. The heirs of those same brilliant people are with us today. The faculty here is beyond belief. People do not know in this community what kind of a dedicated, outstanding, and brilliant faculty they could teach at any institution in the country that we have here at GRCC. When I said I hit the U of M as a junior and hit the ground running and was light years ahead of my fellow juniors, I'm telling you, that was absolutely the case. I mean, it wasn't me. It's what those people gave to me. It's what this place gave to me. They have given that for generations, and the people who give it now are heirs to that and will give it for generations to come. I will be forever grateful to those folks for the love of learning which they instilled in me. Whenever on this journey through the oceans of life, the storms which we all encounter have brought me fear of foundering, there are 5 things which have brought me safely to calmer seas: my faith, my wife, my family, and I mean all of them, my extended family, my children, my friends, all of you and those who couldn't be with us tonight, And the thing for which I will always be grateful to GRCC, my education. Those 5 things have been my anchor and my privilege. Whatever I have done in my life to deserve this accolade, this curious selection, it began here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of my life. And I leave my service after 12 years on the Board of Trustees. As I do that, I ask those of you who remain, take care of this place. Take care of this trust for those whom we serve. God bless you all for your service, and may God bless GRCC. Thank you. Now I think I'll go cry a little bit.